Now joined by NFL insider for CBS Sports, Jason La Canfora. Jason, free agency is around the corner, and a lot of Jets fans, let's just dive right into it here. They want to know who are the names that they should be getting a little more familiar with as free agency inches up.
Look, a lot of the sort of big names, the people who help you win or lose fantasy football games, receivers, tight ends. I wouldn't necessarily look at those lists and lust after the names atop it, because a lot of these guys are going to be tagged, and in some cases it'll be a second tag, which is unusual, but I think you're going to see a trend this year where more teams apply a tag 2 years in a row than maybe ever have before. So like a Kenny Galladay and Allen Robinson. For the Jets, I think, look, this is a chance for Joe Douglas to really kind of start molding the clay and using these assets at his disposal, whether it's draft picks, whether it's available payroll. And obviously the cap is not an issue for them whatsoever. And they don't have a lot of their own mouths to feed, right? You got to take care of a safety there. Marcus, I can't imagine you won't. There's no reason really why he would get out of the building and whatever it takes to get that done. And that may begin with a tag. I don't know. But I don't see him leaving. But outside of that, it's not like there's 5 or 6 guys who, hey, I need an extension. Hey, I've done it for 3 years. Hey, I've done it here for 4 years. It's time to pay me. So, yes, I think they will be active in free agency. Joe was in Philadelphia. Before that, Joe was in Baltimore for a long time. I think there's certain core principle beliefs, things he, from a football standpoint, would full-throatedly get behind. That's embodied by a lot of things that they've done, particularly in Baltimore on defense. You look at the Baltimore Ravens roster right now, it is bereft of edge players. They just have one who's still under contract, Jalen Ferguson. Everybody else is available. And I think a guy like Matt Judon, look, is he a natural, over-the-top pass rusher? No. But he does everything well that I think Joe Douglas would believe in. He can drop back and disrupt the ball in the air. He can rush a little bit outside, a little bit inside. He can set the edge and absolutely will improve your run defense. He comes from a place where they've had success. I think, Robert Saleh would look at him and say, wow, that's a pretty interesting interchangeable piece that could make some sense. I think if you look at the total body of work for him, he's arguably one of Baltimore's 2 or 3 most important players on that football team. But I think Matt Judon is somebody who would make a lot of sense for the Jets. I think Tyus Bowser's another athlete like Judon, maybe even longer arms, a little twitchier, only 25 years old. Didn't play all the time a ton in Baltimore, but when he did, he made a real impact. He was among league leaders in linebacker interceptions. His ball skills are exceptional. He can cover. He can run around. His pressure rates are pretty good. When you look at number of dropbacks he's on the field versus number of pressures he creates, and he can set the edge as well. I think those are a couple of guys who maybe aren't the top of everybody's free agent list, but would certainly make some sense for the Jets. But they need help in a lot of spots.
So we're going to watch how free agency unfolds over the next couple of weeks. Then a little bit after that, the NFL draft is going to be taking place. The Jets, number 2 overall selection in the 2021 draft, number 23 overall. So a pair of first-round picks this year, a pair of first-round picks next year, 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, 6 picks in the top 100 selections overall. What do you think about the Jets on a macro level heading into the draft? I know we're going to have to watch how free agency unfolds, no doubt about that, but starting there at number 2.
Yeah, I think this is where they'll make their bones. This is where you'll see the true foundation of whatever this becomes. For better or worse, that much draft capital, clustered that together in a year where, again, you can use that to take on existing contracts if you want, because they're not going to use all their cap space if they tried. You've got payroll flexibility. You can move up and down a draft board for a particular player. If Sam's your guy and you want to auction off that pick for somebody else to move up and get whoever they think the second best quarterback in the draft is, not a bad spot to be in. It's worked out really well for a lot of teams in the past. You know, the Rams when Washington moved up for RG3. So yeah, I think they're in an enviable spot for sure, and that's where again they're when you're looking at forks in the road. Okay, where did this thing springboard into the future, or where did it not become what it could have become? Where was opportunity lost? I think this draft is going to play a big role in that. You know, could you stay where you are and take the big tackle from Oregon and put him on the right side and say, we're set there forever? I mean, I think you could. I suspect at the end of the day that they auction that pick off and end up having even more picks in the top 101 or whatever it was this year and next year.
It's going to be very interesting not only to see what happens with the Jets in the draft, but first we got to get through free agency just around the corner. Jason, thanks a lot for your time. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys. My pleasure.